Imagine a world where ancient wisdom trumps cutting-edge technology. In a remote village untouched by modern civilization, locals purify contaminated water without chemicals, preserve food for years without refrigeration, and cure illnesses using only plants found in their surroundings. How is this possible? Welcome to a place that time forgot. A village so remote, it's managed to stay hidden from the modern world for centuries. Nestled in a landscape as rugged as it is beautiful, this settlement defies easy access, much like the fabled Madog County in Tibet. The village's isolation has preserved not just its appearance, but a way of life that seems to belong to another era entirely. As you approach, you'll notice the absence of power lines, paved roads, or any of the trappings we associate with contemporary living. Instead, simple dwellings dot the landscape, constructed from materials found in the surrounding environment. The villagers move about their daily lives without the hum of electricity or the glow of screens that dominate our modern existence. What's truly remarkable is how this community has maintained its ancient practices for generations. Like the inhabitants of the Pitan Islands in the South Pacific, these villagers have adapted to their harsh surroundings, developing a self-sufficiency that's both impressive and humbling. They've cultivated a deep connection to their environment, much like the residents of Paliston Island who rely on rain catchments and solar power for their basic needs. The contrast between the villagers' simple tools and our complex technology is stark. While we rely on smartphones and supercomputers, they've honed techniques passed down through centuries. Their methods may seem primitive at first glance, but as you'll soon discover, they're anything but ineffective. Studying such isolated communities presents unique challenges for researchers. The villagers' lifestyle and practices are so far removed from our own that it takes time and patience to understand their ways. Yet, it's precisely this disconnect that makes their knowledge so valuable. As we delve deeper into the village's extraordinary skills, you'll see how their traditional knowledge has allowed them to thrive in conditions that would challenge even our most advanced technology. From purifying water to preserving food and treating illnesses, these villagers have solutions that rival and often surpass our modern methods. Get ready to witness survival techniques that have stood the test of time. Our first stop, a water purification method so effective, it puts our high-tech filtration systems to shame. You won't believe your eyes when you see how quickly and efficiently these villagers can turn contaminated water into a safe, drinkable resource. Imagine a world where the solution to water scarcity isn't found in cutting-edge technology, but in ancient knowledge passed down through generations. This village's water purification technique isn't just surviving, it's thriving. How does their method manage to outperform our most advanced systems? The villagers use a surprisingly simple, yet effective method to purify their water. They've created a natural filtration system using layers of sand, gravel, and charcoal. As water passes through these layers, larger particles are trapped, while microorganisms in the charcoal break down harmful bacteria and pathogens. This process, refined over centuries, produces clean, safe drinking water without the need for chemicals or complex machinery. What's truly remarkable is how this ancient technique stands up to modern filtration systems. In a comparative analysis, these traditional methods have shown to be just as effective in reducing contaminants as their high-tech counterparts. But here's the kicker, they do it faster and at a fraction of the cost, especially in rural and underdeveloped areas where modern infrastructure is scarce. The proof of this method's effectiveness is in the health of the villagers themselves. For generations, they've maintained a remarkably low incidence of waterborne diseases, despite the challenges posed by their environment. This achievement is even more impressive when you consider the lack of modern medical facilities in the area. The potential applications of this ancient purification technique are vast, particularly in water-scarce regions. Implementing these methods could provide sustainable solutions for clean drinking water in areas where modern filtration systems are impractical or too expensive. Imagine the impact this could have on communities struggling with water access around the world. Experts are taking notice. Survival expert Tim McWelch says, "There is much we can learn from these traditional practices. The simplicity and effectiveness of these ancient methods could inspire new strategies for water purification, especially in developing countries where access to advanced technology is limited." As we witness the success of this village's water purification method, it's clear that sometimes the most powerful solutions are rooted in ancient wisdom. Next, we'll explore another area where these villagers have outsmarted modern technology: food preservation. You won't believe how they keep their food fresh for years without a single refrigerator in sight. Imagine biting into a piece of fruit that's been stored for 2 years, only to find it bursting with flavor and nutrients. In this remote village, that's not a dream. It's everyday reality. Their food preservation techniques aren't just surviving. They're thriving in ways that leave modern science scratching its head. The villagers have mastered ancient preservation methods that keep their food edible for years without the need for refrigeration. They rely on techniques like drying, smoking, and fermenting, practices that have been refined over centuries. These methods don't just extend shelf life, they often enhance the flavor and nutritional value of the food. Take their fruit preservation, for example. By carefully drying fruits in the sun, they remove moisture that would otherwise allow bacteria and mold to grow. This simple yet effective technique can keep fruits edible for years, ensuring a steady supply of vital nutrients even in harsh conditions. Compare this to modern refrigeration, which can lead to nutrient loss over time, especially in fruits and vegetables. The village's approach to meat preservation is equally impressive. They use smoking techniques that not only preserve the meat, but also infuse it with rich, complex flavors. The process creates a protective barrier against spoilage, introducing compounds that inhibit bacterial growth. This method allows them to store meat for extended periods without the energy-intensive refrigeration we rely on. Perhaps most fascinating is their use of fermentation. Foods like kimchi and sauerkraut are staples in the village diet, providing not just long-lasting sustenance, but also a wealth of probiotics that support gut health. These fermented foods often have higher nutritional value than their fresh counterparts, as the fermentation process increases the bioavailability of nutrients. The environmental benefits of these preservation methods are clear. While modern refrigeration consumes significant electricity, the village's techniques rely on natural processes like sunlight and ambient temperatures. This approach not only preserves food effectively, but does so with a minimal environmental footprint. Experts are taking notice of these ancient techniques. Many suggest that adapting these methods could help address food security issues in modern contexts, particularly in regions where electricity is unreliable or unavailable. The resilience of these preservation methods in various climates showcases their potential for contemporary applications. For the villagers, these preservation techniques have ensured food security through even the harshest conditions. Their deep-rooted knowledge, passed down through generations, has allowed them to thrive where modern conveniences are absent. As we've seen with their water purification and now food preservation methods, this village continues to demonstrate that sometimes older really is better. Next, we'll explore how the villagers approach medicine using only local plants. You'll be amazed at how their natural remedies rival modern pharmaceuticals in effectiveness and longevity. What if the cure for your next ailment was growing in your backyard? In this remote village, that's not just a possibility, it's a way of life. Their natural remedies are so effective that even modern scientists are taking notice. The villagers' approach to medicine is deeply rooted in their surroundings. They rely exclusively on local plants, each with its own unique healing properties. Their method of diagnosing ailments is equally fascinating. By observing symptoms and considering environmental factors, they tap into a profound understanding of their ecosystem to determine the most effective treatment. Take the willow tree, for example. Its leaves contain compounds similar to aspirin, making it a go-to remedy for pain and inflammation. Then there's the cinchona tree, whose bark yields quinine, a powerful weapon against malaria. These aren't just old wives' tales. Scientific studies have shown that many of these plant-based treatments can be as effective as synthetic drugs for specific conditions. What's truly remarkable is how this knowledge has been preserved over generations. In the absence of written records, the village elders pass down their wisdom through oral traditions. Young apprentices spend years learning to identify plants, understand their properties, and prepare remedies. This living library of medicinal knowledge continues to grow and adapt, ensuring its survival for future generations. The holistic nature of their medical practices sets them apart from modern approaches. Rather than just treating symptoms, they consider the whole person, physical, emotional, and spiritual health are all part of the equation. This comprehensive approach often leads to better overall outcomes, addressing the root causes of ailments rather than just their surface manifestations. Scientists are now turning their attention to these ancient remedies, recognizing their potential for modern drug development. Research is underway to isolate and study the compounds in these plants, potentially leading to new treatments for a range of conditions. It's a fascinating blend of ancient wisdom and cutting-edge science. Perhaps the most compelling evidence of their methods' effectiveness lies in the village's overall health outcomes. Despite limited access to modern healthcare, the community boasts remarkably low rates of chronic diseases. Their reliance on natural remedies and a lifestyle closely tied to their environment seems to be a winning combination for longevity and well-being. As we've seen throughout our journey in this village, sometimes the most powerful solutions are hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to rediscover them. As we've seen, this remote village has preserved ancient practices that outshine modern technology in remarkable ways. Their water purification method, using simple natural materials, proves just as effective as high-tech systems, but at a fraction of the cost. Their food preservation techniques keep items edible for years without refrigeration, often enhancing flavor and nutrition in the process. And their plant-based medical treatments rival pharmaceuticals in effectiveness, addressing ailments holistically. These traditional methods offer valuable lessons for addressing global challenges. By integrating this ancient wisdom with modern innovation, we could develop more sustainable solutions for water scarcity, food security, and healthcare. The village's practices demonstrate the power of working in harmony with nature rather than trying to dominate it. As we reflect on the contrast between ancient wisdom and modern progress, we're left with a thought-provoking question. In our rush towards technological advancement, what other invaluable knowledge might we be overlooking? Perhaps the key to solving some of our most pressing issues lies not in the future, but in rediscovering the wisdom of the past.